Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBot Solutions. I hope that you guys are all having a great morning. Today is Friday, if I'm not mistaken, October 12th. So we had a pretty decent live stream when it came down to the Learn Plan Profit live stream. I ended up taking a total of two positions. One that I locked in profit during pre-market hours, and that was ticker symbol DGAS. I made a little bit over $200 profit on that one. And then I just ended up trading ticker symbol JNUG due to that overall reversal of pattern that it started to show. So I'm going to start sharing my screen so you guys can see exactly what it is that I'm looking at. You guys do not have to use the same platform that I'm using. I'm using the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. It's available for those that are within the United States and all of North America. Feel free to contact TD Ameritrade if you're interested in using it. I have a bunch of videos on YouTube explaining how I have my setup and stuff like that. But one of the things that I was watching right now is /NG. So let me talk about JNUG very quickly. So JNUG had an aggressive sell-off. It was trading between the middle and bottom VWAP pretty much all morning. It really didn't identify that downtrend direction until maybe 15 to 30 minutes after the market opened. So the market opened here at 6:30 in the morning, sold off, right, continued to make lower lows. And it wasn't until around 7 o'clock where it started to show signs of a potential reversal. It got rejected by this middle VWAP. It continued to sell off, hit the bottom VWAP once again, and then really started to consolidate, broke above the EMA line, and this is when it actually started to make higher highs, pull back, make higher lows, and continue to push up above this middle VWAP. The overall direction changed. Also, if you look at /GC, you can see that this thing has kind of been really just consolidating, showing signs of a horizontal pattern. And that is exactly why we've given the example that, if you are not comfortable, if it's that, this is why we give the example of, you should never solely trade based off of, if a future is telling you, because /G is a gold-based future. So if that's telling you that, hey, /GC is headed up, or right now, /GC is offering a horizontal pattern, then it makes people right away would assume that, okay, well, JNUG and JDST, which are the inverse ETFs that correlate on over to /GC, are ones that are most likely going to show signs of a horizontal pattern. But that's definitely not the case, right? I mean, it sold off and then it recovered and it did all this movement with /GC really just consolidating throughout the day. So although the patterns are similar, again, you never solely want to rely off of one indicator. What's going on, John Louis? What's up? Let's see. Audio's fine. Okay. All right. Just making sure that everything is set up properly. So one of the things that I saw based off of yesterday's patterns is JNUG becomes a little bit more on the overbought side. So not so much of a good deal as it approaches the $9 price point. The other thing also that I wanted you guys to take into consideration is that it's a little bit more on the overextended side when you guys look at the 180-day chart, and it makes sense on why it would be due for a pullback. It does not mean 100% that it's going to pull back. It just means that maybe it's not so much of a good deal. We might want to give it a little bit more time. And the reason that I'm saying this is today's Friday. So many people are, either considering and locking in profits or, holding your position on JNUG. And all I want to remind you is that ticker symbol JNUG as of right now is, again, on the overbought side. Based off of yesterday's patterns, how it got rejected, just ask yourself this, right? So most of you are just getting started, and is it worth the risk to hold a position when you're already up for an extra maybe 3-4% that you can make? Or again, just as much as it could go up, it could pull back, right? So we saw how overextended it was. If we simply look at the 20-day 1 hour, we could see how overextended it was. And this is, forget about JNUG and forget about /GC. I'm using this as an example in general, right? For whatever it is that you're trading, how, does it still identify as something that's a good deal? Or is it overbought enough that it would make sense based off previous patterns on when it pushes up that it would pull back, right? So is the margin of profit of the maybe 3-4% that you can make if you hold until Monday, is that worth the discouragement that you can experience if it ends up selling back off down to the support, being down 10-15%? Just put yourself in both shoes, right? If you were to be up 4%, if you were to be down 15%, based on your current position right now of being green, wouldn't it make much more sense just to lock in profits and then to re-enter a position if you continue to see value of, in JNUG or whatever it is that you're trading on Monday? And the reason that I say this is it goes in accordance to yesterday's video, right? So yesterday I made a video and the overall feedback was like, I think pretty great, right? So it says, watch this before trading. I talk about this like just concept that so many people are so obsessed about making money in the very beginning when they're first starting to learn how to invest in the stock market, and they forget about the idea of, again, in the very beginning, you're still teaching yourself, you're still developing yourself as a trader to identify how you see value, the mistakes that you're going to make, and the best practices and your strong points, right, when it comes down to trading. So you're going to make a lot of mistakes. And the best way to make those mistakes, in my eyes, is either to paper trade or to do that one share kind of test that we've talked about to manage and minimize overall risk. And I think that's something that we could all agree on. So again, it's just a friendly reminder that whatever position that you are in today, it's up to you, right? No one's here to tell you what to buy and sell. That's never been something that I've ever wanted to do. But I'm just here to remind you that even if you're down a little bit, right, just ask yourself, put yourself in the shoe that you can be on Monday, right? Is it worth the risk? To, if you see something that you're trading right now that's overbought, and even if you're still down, right, or regardless if you're up on the day, right, regardless of what side of the spectrum you are, is focus on the pattern. It doesn't matter where you are, where it comes down to your profits or your losses. That's irrelevant to the overall market condition, right? But if you focus in understanding and making sense that, wow, this is still a good deal that I'm investing in and it's showing signs of an uptrend, it's worth a hold. Fine, up to you, right? But if it's something that's overbought, but you're still down and you're still saying, well, it still has a little bit more margin for me to break even or to make, my daily goal and stuff like that, then again, you're trading based off of your specific motives, which have no correlation to what you're actually investing in. Not one correlation. And how many of you guys have ever done that, right? I've done it multiple times, and I can be a perfect example of someone that has done it multiple times for something that they wanted to make a little bit more money on. And let's say, for instance, ticker symbol UGAS, right? This is one that I'm trading right now. And ticker symbol UGAS, in my eyes, the reason that I'm trading it, it started to show signs of a reversal. It was showing signs of a sell-off. It broke above the middle VWAP. I took a position, right? Started showing signs of this ascending uptrend pattern. Being able to buy the dips, sell the highs, makes sense, right? Now I understand that right here we have a resistance right around the top VWAP, and not just that, but with /NG, we could see that as it's trying to recover, the middle VWAP is going to be a resistance, and then as it continues to push up, these are obvious resistance levels that I'm going to have to take into consideration. The top VWAP also take into consideration the consolidation that it experienced around this general price point. So what I'll do is I'll set an alert to remind me to check /NG again, and then also when it comes down to natural gas, seeing this ascending uptrend pattern of making the higher highs and the lower and the higher lows, that all makes sense to me, right? So if my daily goal is making, right, the $500 to $750 a day, and I want you guys to answer this one with me. Does it make sense? Here, let me close this out. So does it make sense? And how many of you guys have ever done this? Does it make sense to invest in a position and to hold a position, to not lock in profits because I'm trying to aim for my daily goal? How many of you guys have ever done that? Like, let's say your goal was $100 or $50, whatever your goal is, right? As the stock is going up and it's showing an obvious sign of a resistance, the MACD is maybe overextended, the RSI is overextended, there's an obvious resistance, it's hitting the top VWAP, but you're so obsessed with like, I only need $5 more to hit my daily goal, or $10 more to hit my daily goal, $100, $50 more to hit my daily goal, and I will hit my $100, milestone, my $500 milestone, my 1,000 day milestone. How many of you guys have ever done that? And the worst feeling is when you know that there's a resistance, you're aware of it due to your understanding of investing in the stock market, yet you don't lock in profits, it gets rejected, and then it starts to sell off. And you go from being up so close to your, daily goal that you 100% now are in the red, right? That's one of the worst feelings, when you're almost at your daily goal and then all of a sudden you go from green to red. And it's this like huge like rush of emotions of like, I'm such an idiot. right? I should have just locked in profits, and there is absolutely no reason that I should have not locked it in. There's an obvious indication of a resistance, and the extra $50, the extra $100, the extra $5 is not going to matter 3, 5 years, 10 years down the road. But what is going to matter is this discouragement and this upset feeling that you go through when you don't lock in profits and you were aware of a resistance, but it's because the discipline just wasn't there. So it's just a friendly reminder that regardless if you're up, regardless if you're down, the whole point of this video is, I'm trading live as in like I'm trying to lock in my profits right now on ticker symbol UGAS, but I mean that's besides the point, right? So that's myself trading. But what do you guys think about what it is that I just said? So yeah, ticker symbol UGAS. There's no break of pattern yet. It's still holding above the middle VWAP. If it holds and breaks below the middle VWAP, I'll end up having to cut losses. So, but I wanted to ask you guys, what is it that you guys like? Have any of you guys been in that position, right, where you're just getting started and you're trying to lock in profits and you chase the dollar goal? One of the things that I would always do when I just got started, and this is something that I explain to the people that are part of Learn Plan Profit, is to not trade with, like, when I was trading ticker symbol DGAS today during pre-market hours, there was an obvious resistance right around, this was my biggest like FOMO today. And the Learn Plan Profit team like laughed because it happens to me all the time. But, you know, I made a little bit over $200, $210 on ticker symbol DGAS. You know, I made this in like 30 minutes. So like $200 in 30 minutes, like that's a lot of money. Like people worked very hard for that money. And I have to understand that, right? But also, you know, the reason that I sold where I sold, right? I sold at 1465 right before the market opened. Why did I sell that? Can you guys tell me why I sold at 14? So right here, 1465. What indication, what pattern, what direction would have been my motive to sell at that price point? Can you guys tell me? Can you guys do a technical analysis? I'm going to remove my pre-market high. Perfect. Exactly. There is a reason, and this is exactly why I sold, because there is a reason behind it. If I go back and when it was approaching this specific price point, look at the RSI, look at the MACD, look at pre-market highs. Obvious indication of a resistance. Obvious. I could only trade based off of the data that I could analyze. I did not know that it was going to completely shoot up. It could have gone down as much as it went up, right? I could have maybe gotten back in if I saw value in it, but I saw that it was a little bit more on the overbought side, and then it was too late by the time it started to trend up. But again, how many of you guys have ever gone back, and I do this all the time, right? I sold at 1465 and it hit highs of 1564, but let's say that I would have sold at like 1540. That's 5.14%. So based on the price point that I sold at and the price point that I could have, you know, sold at, I had about 1,400 shares. That would have been about $1,400 more dollars. I could have had a $1,600 day. But again, how many times? So DGAS just broke above the resistance, and I'm going to check to see if, so that means that UGAS is getting very close to that middle VWAP. But then that also means that DGAS as of right now might experience the resistance right around the SMA. So the SMA used to act as a previous support. It might act as a new resistance. So we'll have to follow up with it. But one of the things that I want to say, let's see if I could get my train of thought back. Nope, I guess not. Oh, yes, I got it back. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is like, okay, I missed out on about $1,400 today. 100% that it sucks. It 100% sucks. And it's an area of opportunity for myself. Something that maybe I could have, you know, gotten back in with a smaller position and progressively added more to my position if I saw that it was actively trending up. I should have paid a little bit more attention to the sell-off on /, NG and it continuously making lower lows. And I could have followed that direction a little bit smoother. So something that I could refine myself better, right? But I still think the way that I played it out was a much safer way than most people would have. Most people would have, as soon as it broke above that resistance, most people right away would have bought in right back in again. And the thing is we don't know if it's going to peak out at 1480 and then because it's so overbought, then all of a sudden just sell off, right? We don't understand what direction it's going to be going because it literally just, market just opened. So with that understanding, I felt like when it came down to risk slash reward, it was not a good deal. The RSI was overextended. The overall pattern was telling me that, it wasn't necessarily so much of a good buy. And the risk was just a little bit too high. It just didn't meet my specific criteria. And because of that, I have to be okay with not taking a position. And I know big picture, that's going to be much more important than, the $1,400 that I could have made today, right? We have days every single week where we clear over $1,000 profit, right? When it comes down to trading. And I'm not going to let one situation of FOMO, the fear of missing out, right? Kill that ability to want to continue to invest in the stock market because of my desire to have another $1,000 day. I know those days will continue to come as long as I continue to focus on quality, try to focus on my discipline, right? Making sure that I only take positions that I see value in and to make sure that I manage my risk accordingly, right? Yeah, okay. So I don't know who this is, but trade for tomorrow, not today. Yep. It's pretty much you want to trade for the future, right? Especially for those that are just getting started. You don't want to trade for today and treat every day like it's your last, especially as you're just getting started. I see so many people that as they're just getting started, people are starting to invest with a lot more money than when I first started, right? They're trading with $10, $15, $50, $100,000. And it's such a blessing that you have such a larger foundation than most people can start off with. And you should utilize that to your advantage once you have the knowledge in how to invest. You don't know if you're going to be successful in the market. And just because you have access to the funds, yes, you're welcome to do whatever it is that you want, but it's not the smart way to approach it, not in my eyes. Wouldn't it make more sense to learn about a market, see if you can actually be successful in it, practice it, test it out with the different, setups that we've talked about. And then if you do experience success in the market, then guess what? Not only do you have the money, but now you have the actual knowledge and the skill set to be able to properly implement and combine both and actually make and grow your account in the stock market. So, Ricky, do you ever use the Fibonacci retracement tool? Not really. No, I don't really use that specific indicator. I know a lot of people do. So just because I don't doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I would test it out and see if it's something that you find effective. So Ricky, how much money did you start trading with? My first initial account that I ever opened was with $3,500. I like that, Ricky. I'm learning on simulators. I think that's the best way. You don't know, and I think this is one of the only markets, if I'm not mistaken, other than I know there's simulators for forex and simulators for cryptocurrency now, but when it comes down to drop shipping, when it comes down to Amazon FBA, when it comes down to starting your own business, there is no simulator, right? So that's why I think that the stock market has never been so accessible, because you literally have the opportunity to test out if this is a market where you actually can be successful in. If you properly implement everything that is that you learn and practice it, and you keep track, you learn from your mistakes, and it's going to take time. But if you continue to refine yourself, just like you refined yourself as, are you the same person that you were, 5-10 years ago? No. Slowly but surely, you continue to identify and create your values, your morals, your ethics, and you become your own person. So you don't become such a perfect mold of what your parents or your, whoever it is that raised you, right? But you become your own person. Same thing with trading. You're starting with watching maybe some of my videos, maybe some of other people that are on YouTube, right? It's free information. But as time goes on, your goal is not to become a mirror image or a mirror trader of myself or whoever it is that you're watching. It's to become your own self-sufficient trader. Not to trade based off of alerts, not to trade based off of what other people are telling you to invest in. That doesn't, if someone tells you, just think about this, who has become successful that every single move that they ever made in their life was guided by someone else? No, they would be called puppets, right? And that's not impressive. So how is, developing yourself as a trader any different? right? But yeah, I don't know how I got into such a spiel about. I just we're getting a lot of questions, and I'm so like yesterday and today. After this huge DGAS push, I mean, I talked about locking in profits here on ticker symbol DGAS, and I did well, right, with the $200 that I locked in, and that was fine. We had people break their largest days today when it came down to like the most money that they have ever made, and that's such a blessing, not because of how much money they made, but the most rewarding part that I have that people message me within the Learn Plan Profit group and TechBud Solutions is when people understand why they experienced that growth, why they made that return. And I think that's the biggest challenge that I would have for each and every single one of you is to identify, like we have so many people that are just getting started, right? It's like a coin flip. We have so many people that are just getting started that trade options, right? Options are a very high risk, high reward type of thing. And they could experience a 100, 200, 300% return. I could care less about those returns because they don't truly understand. And it's not that I could care less. It's like, and I'm sorry if that's in a very abrupt way. You guys know that I'm not like that. But the thing that I want to cover is that if you don't understand why your account is growing or why you were successful in that trade, or why you took that position and why it ended up, working out according to plan because there was no plan, that's not impressive. That's true gambling. But that's why when it comes down to like the Learn Plan Profit group, and every single Sunday we come together, right? And I tell them to, make sure every single week that you're doing your due diligence to find the number one stock, just one stock that you plan to watch this week that's actively trending up, that's going to get you to your weekly goal. That's impressive. When you can plan, prepare, identify, and trade according to that plan and end up being successful. I don't care if that's 1 or 2%. That is so much more impressive than someone showing me a screenshot of their account growing 100%. Because I know long term, that account will be back down, down 20, 30%. Because they're just taking risks that are not calculated, right? And yes, you can be and get lucky from time to time, but it's not about being lucky for today or for tomorrow or for next week, but it's actually understanding what it is that you're doing to develop an actual skill set that you can do potentially for the rest of your life. I think that's what's different. But yeah, the number one recommendation that I would have. So man, this video is all over the place. I first made this video about trading live, and I have not. I'm not closing my position, so I'm gonna have to retitle this video. I really do apologize. I hope I didn't inconvenience anybody, but I feel like this information is definitely much more valuable. So the whole point of this is people need to own up to what it is that they're doing, provide and add structure to your investing style, and actually learn from your mistakes. That's what's important. Not how much money you're making when you're just getting started. Like, yeah, that's nice. And again, it's very like rewarding to have a monetary reward from time to time. And that's 100% great. But in the beginning, that should not be your focus. It's understanding, continuously learning, and never giving up and learning from your mistakes. Like nonstop. Own up to what it is that you did wrong, write it down, make a note from it. So next time you take a position, you review your mistakes and make sure that mistake is not listed in what you're about to do. Again, it's structure, it's discipline, something that people lack in the most. And again, I continue to use this example. Why do so many people spend more money than they make? And from the very beginning, from when I started making my own money, from when I started reselling Gatorades, right? Or from when I started making my little fingerboards and I started my first online company, right? I was someone that would save every single penny. And I know we're all wired in different ways, but why are people so willing to spend more than they actually make? It doesn't make sense, right? And it's because people lack discipline. Or why do people, if they find or identify an area of opportunity in their life that needs improvement, why are they so reluctant to improve it? Because it requires consistency and discipline and owning up to your previous potential mistakes. But why? Right? Everything it is that, this is why I think, like, regardless if you ever truly want to invest in the stock market or not, I find that to be like remotely like irrelevant. I find the qualities and the experiences and the best practices and the actual skill sets that you learn from investing in the stock market. That's why I encourage so many people to just dive into paper trading and to join a group where you can, involve yourself and obsess about investing in the stock market because of the skill sets that you learn. If you invest 3-6 months out of, your life, especially at a young age or wherever it is that you are in life, and you just truly try to understand what it is that we are doing here in the stock market, and you learn discipline, you learn consistency and the importance of having a plan and sticking to it, focusing and only investing in, investments that you understand and can manage the risk of, how to manage risk, focusing on always getting something for a good deal. Based on my success, my success does not only come from the stock market. I've talked about that multiple times. You can check out my YouTube channel. I invest in cars. I invest in real estate. I invest in a series of other businesses. We run a series of other online stores, right? And it's because of the skill sets that I learned from a very early age in the stock market that I'm able to do that. So I've gone on this rant for about 30 minutes almost. So where can you paper trade? TD Ameritrade offers one. I have a video on it. You can search up paper trading Ricky and it'll pop up. It's all free. You don't have to start with TD Ameritrade. If you're outside of the US, that's not an option for you. So Google it, figure out an option. Don't direct message me on like, hey, if I'm outside of the US, what can I paper trade? I don't know. Google it, figure it out. Again, we need to stop being so willing to be told what to do and more willing to, do the work and learn from it. Right? Like, we're here, then I have over 1,000 free videos that you can learn from on YouTube. And I'm not only the only person that you could learn from. We have the free TechBot Solutions trading group, and you can ask questions there. There's so many options and areas of opportunity that regardless if, you want to actually invest in the stock market or not, the skill sets that you learn within this, and it's all free, is something that I think can truly benefit someone for the rest of their life, can really mold someone in the right direction. And again, that's my opinion, and feel free to share yours. So thank you guys again for everything it is that you guys do. I really do appreciate your guys' time. I'm going to have to retitle this video and set up a new thumbnail, as it was not myself trading live. I just got really caught up on going on that spiel, as I find that to be much more important. So I hope that you guys found this video helpful. If you guys did, or if, think that it could actually guide someone in the right direction, feel free to share it with them. We'd love to be able to assist anybody that is willing to actually work for it and not be told what to do. We will never tell you what to invest in. We'll never tell you where to buy, where to sell, nothing like that. You're going to have to do the work, and it's going to take time, and you're going to make mistakes. And if you're not someone that's willing to experience that and put yourself through that, then TechBot Solutions nor Learn, Plan, and Profit is not for you. But if you're someone that is really motivated and obsessing and surrounding themselves with people that, just are all about the stock market and about the different markets that we invest in, then there's two options. Obviously, we have free videos on YouTube, and then we have our free Facebook group and private group chat called TechBot Solutions. It's the third link in the description. And the other option is, if you would like to watch me and work with me closer, then it's the first option, right? So click that first link down in the description, or click that third link down below, and we would be more than happy to be a part of your success. Again, my number 2 recommendations would be to start paper trading or to do the 1 share test, right? Especially for those that are just getting started. That's my opinion. Feel free to do your own due diligence. I just want to make sure that we minimize the overall monetary at risk, as that can bring out a lot of emotion. So I hope I earned your guys' thumbs up. I hope I earned your guys' sub. I do want to thank you guys again for 370,000 subscribers. It's a true blessing. I hope you guys have an amazing Friday and have a safe weekend. We'll see you guys here for our Sunday Stock Talk. Take it easy, team.